Well, yeah, everyone's at a 12th grade reading level. They just say that, but it actually was 12th grade, and that wasn't normal. But it's whatever. It's just kind of what I'm used to. I don't know. The 4th grade, it was not a good year for me. I was picked on because I was the kid who, you know, whose parents were always there, and I was from the I was a very sheltered kid. So, you had all these kids saying really nasty words that I didn't know existed. I would always go to my parents and ask them, what the words meant. What It was not fun. And up until this point, I really hadn't been bullied. I had this one kid at private school, this one kid who just did not like me. But everyone else was like completely cool with me. Actually, no, it was one kid, and then there was this one instance with another kid. But overall, things were fine. But yeah, in 4th grade, I had a. Actually, I wasn't even bullied that bad in 4th grade. I really wasn't that bad. But, it was more of a culture shock, I guess. It was more of, oh, this is how people really are. I had all these high expectations from TV shows about how public school would be, not realizing that the reality was you have a bunch of kids trying to be edgy. Fun. And that's really what it was. And I even had my own phase where I tried to be edgy, and I grew out of that phase. But it was there when I was like 12. After 4th grade, we had this weird thing where I would just move from school to school to school. Basically every year, sometimes every few months, I would just try out new schools because the thing with me from kindergarten to 3rd grade, I had a stable group of friends. I had connections with people. It was the same people that I knew from, actually I was there since preschool, but most of the kids were from kindergarten. I had 2 years of preschool, funnily enough. But it was like the same group of kids. Like we all knew each other. We were all cool. We were all, but when I went to 4th grade and I got out of that school, which another thing funny about the school, and I'm sorry, I'm like rambling, but a lot of kids dropped out. Like, in kindergarten, there'd be like a lot of people, and you'd only have like maybe 12 people when you got to 6th grade. Like when you got to the higher grades, they just had combined grades. It's like, oh, I teach 4th and 5th grade in the same class because there were so few kids in those grades that you had to combine the grades together to have a full class. But you still had it individualized into like sections based on your performance, and it didn't even matter like how old you were. It just mattered like how skilled you were at the specific stuff, and it just made so much sense. And I was like, wow, I'm performing way better with this. These people are actually allowing me to succeed, and they're not holding me back in order for everyone to be equal, because equality is a lie. Oopsies, that was controversial. Oopsies. But yeah, the point is that when I moved schools, 4th grade, I made some more friends, right? I was able, even though I was like new to the school, I had a good amount of friends there. Despite being the kid from the private school who was like, I remember being disgusted by the cafeteria. I was such a brat, okay? I literally was so grossed out by the school food, and it did not look edible. It did not look fun. Now, granted, everyone else felt the same way, but they were just used to it and they didn't care. I just would not be in the cafeteria. I always found a way to just like not be there. I never ate there. I always got food from my parents, and I feel bad for the people who had to eat there because that food is I don't know how you elementary cafeteria food, not good. But yeah, 4th grade was fine. I found it wasn't really that hard to make new friends. I was cool. But then 5th grade happened, and 5th grade was also fine, but it was like instead of it being, a normal public school, it was a school for like really, and I can't go into the, specifics. My mom actually taught at that school, which is why I was there. But it was a school basically where people who were poor and couldn't afford stuff. And I wanted to go there because my mom was teaching there. It was awkward. The people there originally did not want me to be in my mother's class. But I had an issue with another teacher who was mad at me because I was too smart. And we had tension for some reason, and the teacher was always mad at me. And I don't know. The point is, we somehow got it to work for me to be in my mom's class. And I had my mom as a teacher for a year. That was interesting. And you'd think that she would be like super nice to me, but she was so hard on me. And I was not expecting it because my mom is so nice to me. Unless she's really mad, but she's typically really nice to me. And I saw how she taught her classes, and I'd heard about it, but seeing it firsthand was kind of oof. That being said, I legitimately think she's the best teacher I've ever had. And I don't just say that because I'm her daughter. I say it because I legitimately feel that way. Because she cares about her classroom more than any other teacher I've had. I've had other teachers that cared, but I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, I'm biased. What can I do? 6th grade went good for me, I think. 5th and 6th grade, I was in the same school again. So, it was nice to have that bit of, so I know these people. 7th grade. Okay. Was it 5th or 6th grade when the depression hit? Because it was 11. It was either 5th or 6th grade. I was at that school when this all started, apparently. I know what it was. That's when I'll talk about that in another video. What specifically caused the depression. I don't exactly feel comfortable talking about it right now, but it will certainly be a good video if I ever decide to go public about this. But the point is, I have a pretty good idea for why I was so depressed. And it wound up being the reason why I left school for so many years. But anyway, I go to 7th grade, and I attempted to go to this school that really, it wasn't a private school, it was a public school where essentially you were constricted to, you weren't allowed to move at your own pace, but you had to do more work. And I always hated this about the honors classes. Like anytime I would ask to do a class that was like more advanced, I would always say, please put me in the regular class of kids that are like a year older than me or 2 years older than me or whatever. Because, actually no, I did a year older than me because I wanted an easy thing. Because for me, a year ahead was like easy. I don't want to sound like stuck up or anything. I'm just like honest, But the thing I noticed was the honors classes were not harder, and the teachers had no idea what to do with us. So they would literally just give us like more problems to do, which makes no sense because if you're smarter, you can do it faster. So if you do more problems with them, that makes absolutely no sense. You should be giving more problems to the people who need more problems. If you learn things faster, I don't know. I think the thing is that most people in the honors classes aren't really honors. They just work hard. So like, because they work hard, they're just like, oh, we'll just give them more stuff to do. But I always avoided those classes because I didn't want to work hard and not see anything in return. Because, well, why would I bother doing that if it's not going to give me anything? When I was in private school, I was actually excited to move up classes. I was, there was the red group. There was always these different colored groups. And I was like one of the 2 kids in my class who was always in the top group the full year. Because, I think the white group was the group below the red group. And a lot of people would fluctuate between the red and the white. And I somehow managed to not do that. I might have gotten close a few times. I don't even remember. Maybe not. But I managed to stay in that group, and I was like really proud because it was like, hey, I'm in this really smart school, and I'm like at the top at the smart school. I'm like big brain. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny because at the time, school was really all that was on my mind besides like chess and stuff. And you know, when I moved out of that private school, and I think that's another reason why I moved. And I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place because I started to think like this isn't really what I want to do. It was cool for a little bit, but it was just like, is this what I want to do with my life? Do I just want to, get good grades and do some business job? Or I mean, I don't know. I wanted to do something that I personally enjoyed. I wanted to pursue my own passions, and I was like, essentially I realized that I only really cared about doing well in school because other people were happy when I did. It wasn't necessarily that I was happy. I was just happy because other people were happy, and that made me happy. I was never personally happy doing the stuff. It was not exactly that I enjoyed the stuff. I just enjoyed other people's, because everyone was so proud of me. I was the kid, like, I was so smart, and my parents would talk to everyone, and everyone would be like, she's so smart, she's gonna do something amazing with her life. And it's just kind of like when you're raised with those kind of expectations, like, I don't know, you kind of feel like you have to live up to that. And it's just like, I don't know. My parents are very nice. They obviously didn't intend to do anything like that. It's a subconscious thing. It's not their fault. They're good parents. I wouldn't go out and say that they weren't, regardless of how we might have disagreements. But the fact is, like, I spent my teenage years not really doing much academic stuff, and I just decided I had other priorities. I wanted to spend my time having fun. I decided to finish my homework as soon as possible. I got C's in my classes, even though obviously I could have done better. I think one time I got 100% on the literally the only test I ever studied for the entire, middle school. And it was solely because this teacher had it out for me. And I was just like, oh, really? You want to say that I'm stupid. You want to call me these things because I ask questions. And the teacher was like, he thought all these things about me because I wasn't afraid to raise my hand when I didn't know something. And so he thought I was stupid, even though I'm in an honors class, so why would I be stupid? And I just was like, oh, really? I'm going to get 100% on this. And I got like a 90 something on the final quiz. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not stupid. Thank you very much. But yeah, besides that, I just didn't study. I decided I want to have fun, enjoy being young, enjoy just kid stuff, teenage stuff, playing games, listening to music, watching movies. I was happy. Things were pretty good. My social life wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. I talked to people. People were nice to me. I generally knew people. I didn't have... A lot of my close friends were actually from people I knew when I was much younger. I didn't have a lot of new close friends, but that's more because of everything was unstable. I feel like when you get to junior high and it's the same kids who've known each other for years and years and years, it becomes harder to be the new kid and to just, put yourself in there. I wasn't a social outcast or anything. I just wasn't like, super like connected with everyone like I was in previous schools, I guess. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was always like the class pet in like private school. Like, the teachers loved me. I was like super nice and super sweet to everybody, and people liked me for that. I know looking now, it's like, you used to be nice to everybody, but you're like, you start drama with everybody. You constantly put yourself in these. But yeah, I mean, you might not believe me, but that's how I was.